welcome to Golden Podcast. And as normal, she is my co-host, and we have two guests today, anh Dick and Trâm.
Hello, everyone. So the topic today is a little bit special than the previous topic that we have talked about. And it is a little bit sensitive to some audience, so parent may be advised. And today we're going to talk about unprotected sexual activities, and we want to bring in Đức and Trâm for their opinion on these matters, and hopefully we're going to have more exciting discussion. So first of all, so let's define what is unprotected sexual activity. What do you guys think?
Well, from what I know is that it's defined as that when you have a sexual intercourse without any contraceptive method. So either you don't have a condom, or for the women, you don't take your birth control pill right after. Basically, to protect yourself from any sexually transmitted infection, STIs for short, and then you have an increased chance to get those STIs without any contraceptive.
But even if people on pills, for example, I thought the STI is still transmitted, right?
Yeah.
Still transmittable.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the best way to avoid that?
Well, for the women, we would go get checked, medically. But usually, I know this from friends, is that after sex, you have to go pee first. That's the first thing. Or what you can do is you drink, cranberry juice to prevent that. Or you go to the doctor, get a checkout. So that's the 3 ways. But usually, most of them say like after you have sex, go pee. That's all I know.
Yeah, I love the 3 ways.
Another way that some people have done, can't quote me if this is correct or not, but some people have used lemon juice to apply to the lower area because of the citric acid could help to burn away
Wouldn't that
the residue.
Because the pH is about 2 or 3, and that's stink.
It would be stink, right?
Although, like I said, I can't confirm that if it works or not, but that is a known method that people have tried in the past, which is why I would not suggest it, but just to give you a heads up that that's a thing that people have done. Weird, but
so
there's even people to respect that would use beer bottles, and they would use they would just stick it up there and allow for the smell of the alcohol to help with that. There's a lot of weird methods.
Wait, is that beer or vodka, or just beer in general?
Yeah, like a beer bottle from glass, like a glass bottle. Yeah.
But that was only like 4 or 5% of alcohol. I don't think that's going to be enough. And the yeast in the beer is actually cause more infection, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's a weird thing that people have done. I don't know why they do it, but they just do it.
I mean, I think people should stick with traditional way.
Yeah, people should actually do their research, obviously, but there are weird methods that people have used, and there are a couple of them too.
So in
at least
summary,
the lemon juice makes sense, sort of, but not the beer bottle.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think the beer bottle would work.
Yep.
So in general, you have like how many ways? 3 ways, right? So condom,
birth control,
birth control pills.
Yeah.
Or what else?
Juice.
I mean, there's multiple ways for the women. You have like you have the arm birth control. You have the UTI control. You have multiple ways for the woman to do that. But for the man, it's just a condom. So,
but like I think younger population, they would argue that having the condom would decrease certain pleasure level, right? So how can we make an argument to persuade them to like, oh, using those methods for any sexual
I'm not
activities?
really sure if that's a younger person thing. So from most couples, and you are hearing this from a particular podcast, a lot of times what you do is usually the first time is like you're using condoms, and when you get comfortable and when you actually trust the other partner enough, like you guys tell each other's medical history and that kind of thing, and everybody checks out. And just you go bareback. Oh, by the way, bareback is when you actually go raw dog, or you have no condom. Just stick it in, just purely without any protection at all.
from you, I learned
So just throw out some other extra terminologies for unprotected sex.
One thing I learned from my friends that if they like just, I guess, just do like one night stand kind of thing, they will use condom. But then when they, I guess, agree to be sex buddies, they have an agreement to go get their STI check done. So they can, kind of like see each other medical history as well as like whether they clear with STI, then they can, do without any contraceptive, things like that. Very good. And they have to get checked every 3 months to be able to continue.
So just wonder, most of the interceptive pills, for example, would that be affecting the women's health in general? And how does that work?
Well, that's what I learned. So there's so many different birth control pill, and there's so many different times, different doses, and each person can be prescribed to different doses and on your hormone level. And it's gonna affecting your hormone level. You can have like headache, migraine, mood swing, also like irregular period, as well as you can have like bleeding without knowing why sometimes. That's for the pill. I know my friend have an IUD or the insert in their arm kind of birth control that lasts 3 to 5 years. They also have problem with them, even though like they thought it's going to be the long-term birth control kind of thing, but it's also affecting their hormone, and they have mood swing all the time, have increase in anxiety, as well as interest in having panic attacks sometimes. They also have like bleeding, also like have sometimes within a month, they can have 3 different periods. It's happened within a week or 2 weeks. And they have very irregular periods. Sometimes they don't have period for either 3 months to 6 months, depending. So that can be something that women, have to deal with, and they have to go to their OBGYN and have them like review and see if they have to change the doses as for the pill, or they have to take out the arm birth control or the IUD that they just insert. So there's so many things that they have to consider.
I mean, it sounds like it has a long-term effect. Like, for some people, they probably don't want to have, unexpected pregnancy at the moment. But, later on in life, you don't want them to lose that ability. Exactly.
So a lot of women have to think hard on what kind of contraceptive method they want. Of course, everyone is different. So some may work for them better than the other. I do have friends love the arm birth control, and then that lasts for 5 years. So they don't have to take the pill at all. But some love the pill, so they have to make sure that they take the pill at the same time every day. So some love that, and some love the IUD, which is like you can insert it, and then when you feel like you're ready to have a baby, you can just take it out.
And that's for the ladies. So
yes, and for the men, you guys know more. Just a condom.
Yeah. That's how about the men?
Yeah, just basically a condom. Although there is the female condom, it's just
There is, yes.
but it's just a Casper-looking version of the male condom, where it's kind of bigger. I don't
mean,
remember what it looks like, but it's just
no, it's bigger and it's fit your vagina. However, I know the problem with it is slip. It slip easily. So it's not like the man condom that is, you put it in and it's stuck, it stick there. For the vagina, it's, you put it in, but then when I guess the movement make it slip out. So it's not as safe.
Yep.
And it's the whole, I guess, process not pleasurable, at all.
Oh my gosh,
So other than
I
that,
feel like I'm just a young student who's in the course.
The thing is, I watch a lot of contraceptive videos. That's why I kind of know a little bit about it.
So is there any chance that you still get unexpected pregnancy even though you use all of those interceptive methods?
Contraceptive only prevent you as high as 98%. There's always that 1 to 5% that you're gonna get pregnant. As far as I know, I'm the failed contraceptive case because my mom had an IUD and she thought I'm not gonna get pregnant, but nope. I'm the failed case. You're never sure.
So
Technically,
technically, if you do that 50 times, one of those times gonna be,
lucky. You're gonna get lucky.
Very lucky.
Yeah. So it's not always 100%. There's always from 0 to 5%.
Yeah. I have heard in the past that you can actually calculate your period accordingly.
Yes. Yeah. What is it? What we call period time ovulation cycles. And then when you're in the safe zone, when you're in the danger zone, things like that within the 30 days.
Yeah, but
How can you calculate that?
we have an app, and we know which day we can do for free. But actually, my second kiss was my accident too about cows of periods, so I don't trust about that thing too.
So for some audience that curious about that app, can you give them the name?
Only now.
We just call it like, there's so many apps. Usually you just type up like ovulation cycle app, it should pop up, and it depends on how you want to track it. Sometimes I know Apple have now the new Apple have the Apple Watch have the ovulation tracking technology now, so you have that. But usually we just use the app to track, and then each woman have a different cycle length. Some have like 29 days, some have like up to 45 days depending. So it's different for everybody.
Yeah, sure. So I think I would try to make the the discussion as much educational as possible. Sure. So I think I'm gonna bring that expertise into the next question. So assuming that the participant of the sexual activities do not want to have any protected method, what could we do to kind of like limit the possibility of any risk may involve?
Let's try to go through the male condom thing first, right? Because although like there's a male condom, there's different sizes because males can be of different sizes, of course. And then there's even flavored ones because sometimes the sexual activity isn't just intercourse, which is basically where penis goes into vagina, but basically it's just simply having a blowjob. And sometimes we even want the female to be protected from guys, if in case there's a likelihood that like the man's penis is whatever, right? down on him, she tastes something pleasant instead of latex. So just to get that one out of the way first. Yeah, so in terms of optional methods of sexual activities, there is always foreplay, but although with foreplay, like I said, there's still a risk of getting STIs. So you might need to use condoms for that, which is why reverting back to the idea of a flavored condom. But aside from that, there's a couple methods where you can simulate the idea where the penis feels like it's going inside the vagina when it's not. So one example would be, let's say you have, this is the woman, and here's her leg. So obviously her vagina somewhere in the front somewhere, and the guy's kind of in the spoon position behind her, and he just slides his penis between her legs, and she kind of squeezes her leg in between his penis. But the idea is like the penis is not going inside the vagina, obviously. It's just still on the outside. This method works, especially when she's very wet, when she's very horny, so that the wetness of from her vagina would actually seep down onto the penis, so it provides that lubrication. So then all the man needs to do is just slide in and out, as if he's thrusting in and out of a vagina, except it's just a similar feeling, because like the squeezing of the leg would be kind of like the squeezing of the vagina's lips, and the wetness that's coming out of her vagina will serve as the lubrication. So that would be like an example of one position that you could try. If maybe say that the woman likes to be more the the dominant one, right? So let's say that she's on top, and then the guy's penis is sticking up. So let's say behind her is her butt cheeks, right? So kind of like this kind of feel, right? The idea would be the penis will be between the butt cheeks, such that it's kind of like a hot dog at that point. She would kind of like maybe put her hands over it just to at least hold it in place. So it's kind of like similar to the idea of titty fucking, when the guy actually puts his penis line. Yeah, right. Except that because because the penis is still near enough to the woman's vagina, especially if she's horny, she seeps out her vagina juices, and that would provide the lubrication. So just a couple of methods of trying to at least simulate the idea of intercourse without actually having intercourse, and actually would feel pretty good.
So yeah, apart from all of those risks, I mean, I think the act of sexual activities is something that, like you don't take lightly, because all the risks that involve. And I mean, from my perspective, I guess like, be careful with who you do it with, choosing people wisely, I think would be the first step. And I don't know how you guys think about romantic relationship. If you ask the other person to test first for like medical history before we engage in any activity, would that be like, turn the relationship a little bit unromantic by any case?
Yeah,
if you're being safe about it, it would be the preferred way to do things. Like for them to be resistant already is like kind of a red flag.
I think it's a risk,
unless the person was like
to ask medical history and how many partner you have in the past. That's just a respectful way to just get to know your partner, and as well as each other history, so at least you're aware. I don't think there's anything that gonna hurt the feeling or anything like that romantically.
Like unless the person's like a virgin, maybe, then like that might be kind of the only exception I would probably say. But even then too, like there's some weird oddities where they could get STIs even though they're a virgin. But I mean, maybe if the person is a virgin, maybe you can kind of let that question go.
I mean, speaking of that, for me, like with no experience and everything, I went to OPG1 and I still have to get tests for everything because as a woman, you use public restroom. So they require you to get tests just to make sure that you don't have any infections, as well as to be safe for any of the, down there uterus conditions. So we have to get tests either way, every 3 years.
Yeah, but how about, I'm wonder like how about if it's easy to find a place to do the test in your areas, but actually in my area even now when we try to search it's on Google, it's very difficult to find a place. And then one more thing about maybe still about the culture, like sometimes if the question like if we ask about do the test first before we come into romantic relationship, maybe it also destroys the relationship too. Like, I mean, in some cases we're afraid about that too. So just it's not too common here to do the test before, something in relationship. Yeah.
So I would say to that, if it ruins the relationship, I already think that's already a red flag with that, whoever that person is. So better you safe than you get an STI and be like, oh my god, and then like now you have to live with that, right? So better safe than sorry.
So talking about that, I think in United States where that drum and I is in right now, we really like popularize like sexual education, right? But how about in Vietnam? Like how popular is it?
No, it's not popular. Even now, like actually when now about sexual in Vietnam, some people even in primary school, secondary school, they still have sex already, but actually they scare of the parents or people try to control them. So that's why I know nothing public or nothing popular here about protect sexual activity. And then that's why now even we still, for example, we worry to a good school for students just because that's reason too. We try, like for example, last year I tried to visit another school. I mean, there is secondary school for my kids, and I visit the toilet. I saw so many condoms there. Maybe if the parent look at that, they shock or they feel sad. But for me, I feel little bit feel safely because at least they don't know where to do the test or protect themselves, but at least they know they have to use the condom. They have to use the condom before they have sex. So it's good to be a little bit in education. So yeah. So in Vietnam now, the only ways we can protect about sexual activity, just the first one, like use condom. Yeah.
But then because I think the topic become really sensitive from the Vietnamese culture.
Yeah.
I think that high school or even middle school don't usually come to their parents and ask.
Never.
So you as a parent, how can you ensure that your kid become more comfortable with you to talk about a topic like this?
Yeah, on my way. So actually, when my kid was grade 3, I bought a book about the sexual for her. I know she could be shy in front of me, but I saw her reaction, like she keeps that book and go to her like private space and read it already. I'm happy to hear that. And now he is aggressive, we be more open to talk about that situation. So for me, at my house, it's not difficult to share each other. But I know the thing now around me, so many kids still couldn't talk to their parents about them, even when they had problem. They scared of them. The thing like the parent never trust their kids, even when they have problems, they just try to trust the kids or jeer at them. instant like share about what happened. So I hope that's maybe in I hope that's the education. I mean, maybe about from the school, the teacher also have some lesson for the kids already. But I hope it's be earlier than now. They just thought that the kids will be naughty on high school, but actually in primary school, they still also fall in love with someone, try to kiss someone, and the first feeling always let them want to do more things and curious about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the same old story that I was taught in the past. Like, oh, even if we kiss, we could actually get pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, you may think it's silly right now, but that's how we were taught. In Vietnam.
No, yeah, no. I'm more like holding hand. Mom say holding hand.
Yeah, holding hand.
Yeah.
And I feel old because
trust her until 18.
Yeah.
I feel old because for me it was like the idea of cooties.
What's that?
Cootie?
Instead of cooties.
What's that?
Cuddles?
No, cooties. COOTIE. Cooties.
What is that?
I'm dating myself. So the idea is like when you were a little kid, the idea was just like, if you did anything, affectionate with each other, like, even merely holding each other, or even just touching the opposite sex, it's like, oh my God, you got cooties. And then supposedly you're supposed to get a quote unquote cootie shot to get rid of those cooties. So the whole idea of the cootie shot is like say a teacher or whatever will be like, oh, I'm going to give you a cootie shot. Okay, you got your cootie shot. You're healthy now. Like, it was such a kid mentality back then. Yeah,
It's like placebo effect.
Yes, definitely. Okay.
I mean, like, growing up, we just like, amazed how we were taught back then, and somehow it works sometimes, and I have heard from some other religion as well. Unprotected sexual activity is not really a big problem because they practice abstinence, right? So I don't think they want to engage in any sexual activity before marriage.
Yeah, that's true. In my age too, and I'm also one of the example. The first time when I had sex, and I thought that I have to marry with that guys because without him I couldn't marry other guys. So we had no choice after we have sex.
Yeah, at most as I think it was a little bit strict, but I think it's helped a lot with like, removing some of the risks that may involve with the sexual activity. But, for other people, I mean, I'm not against unprotected sexual activities. I just think that it comes with a risk. And as long as, the participant understand the risk and willing to take that, then they would be responsible enough when something happens, either with DTI, I mean STI, right?
STI,
STD, or unexpected pregnancy, right? So when things like that happen, it become more problematic, in my opinion. So, I don't know if we have any other question or opinion about this matter. So I think I really.
Sex, you mean?
Yes. Did you have a final remark?
The final remark. Basically, it's much more safer just to use at least a condom. Anything in terms of any sexual activity, anyways, there is a likelihood of getting an STI. So, if that's going to be your one night stand, wrap it. If you're going to at least go further with it, and like, hey, like, at least the first time wrap it, and then afterwards do medical history on each other, and check, get yourself tested and check out, just to make sure, because hey, better safe than sorry, right? Like, it pack of condoms costs less than trying to recover from an STI. So, and it's less painful too.
I would say for the girls is be smart. Always carry a plan B pill with you, just in case if the guy forgot the condom, because you can't never trust. They always carry with them. There's always those guys that never repair, so might as well carry a plan B with you. Get tested. Also check your ovulation cycle. Know it well, so at least you know when it's your safe period, when it's not safe. So at least you get your partner knows. If you have your sixth sense and you might have, possible pregnancy, go get your pregnancy test. It's faster to check it out than wait 6 weeks and then you have to go do another route or have make decision that you might not like. So things like that always have to come up. Be smart about it, basically.
Yeah.
Guy side, this might not necessarily apply per se, but for anybody that has watched the movie Along Came Polly, there's one advice that was given to the Ben Stiller character. The advice was, before you actually go on the date, and possibly if you actually do end up having sex with that woman, one good idea would just be to masturbate before you actually go on the date. That way, like at least like maybe 2 to 3 hours, something like that. That way, one, you're more relaxed because you got that out of your system, and that when you actually do have sex with that person, and you kind of do last longer because you got that initial come out of your system. Otherwise, you might get too excited. You might be premature and bust out a lot. But also, too, because you got a lot of that out of your system, sex is a little bit easier to control. So as the guy, you could actually have a better control as to how much you can hold yourself before you pull out. This is obviously maybe a little bit tricky, especially if you're going to do a raw dog, but it does help out a little bit in the long run, because when you as a guy have better control of your dick and how you come, then your pullout game will be stronger.
Yeah.
How about you, Young?
Yeah, from my side, I have not much experience about myself, but actually just want to tell with the parents who are like a parent like me, like having sex is not most terrible things for the kid under 18. The worst thing for them, like they do that without any understanding. So that's my opinion and the thing I want to tell.
Right, sure. Oh, well, thank you very much, Tet and Jung, for your opinion. I mean, we had a very amazing and educational discussion. Like, we don't talk about this topic a lot, but I think when we do, it brings a lot of value. And I think, more people should be aware and don't feel shame about discussing this topic in the public space, because I think it is important. And I think the risks can be, brought down much lower if we have understanding about, certain method to avoid certain risks involving, sexual activity, to make it as safe as possible, and bring people happy more than just the worry later on or maybe early in people's life. So I appreciate everybody's time to bring on this podcast. So for the audience, if you have more questions for these experts, please send us to our email, or if you have any topic that you want to discuss later on, any like controversial topic as well, please shoot us an email, and we'll probably bring it back to our discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.